Winners and losers from preseason week 1 is the topic of today's video. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. We've already provided a full in-depth breakdown, reaction, injury updates yesterday on the channel right after the game. So go check it out after this video. It's linked in the comments and description of the show. But for this one, we're going to take a look at 5 players who I think their stock is through the roof and they looked really, really good, and 3 players who, honestly, stock is needing to get higher. Really quickly, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We were live for 5+ hours, over 50K views on the show. It was absolutely electric, and job ain't finished. We are still filming content. We're still providing updates and information for Saints fans all over the place. So hit the sub button for Saints content by fans, for fans. That way you never miss an update around the black and gold. Tyler Shough, he is winner number 1. Crazy thing, the guy who threw a pick 6 is the winner of today's video. Tyler Shough, though, in all seriousness, did have a really, really impressive day. 15 of 22, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That INT was pretty bad. Just going to say that. It was an underthrown ball, bad decision. But what really, really was the takeaway from me wasn't that he threw the pick 6. Sure, that's frustrating. That happened. It's annoying. It's a rookie. Shit happens. But what really was impressive to me was the response that he had. Just, a little bit later, he airs it out to Mason Tipton. 54-yard deep ball for a touchdown. To me, Tyler Shough was an impressive player in the sense that he was able to run the offense. He made good decisions. Outside of the pick 6, I thought that he threw the ball fairly well. That does not mean there aren't things to fix. 2 things can be true. You can have had a good day, still got to fix some things. I think Tyler Shough, though, really, really showed some good things. And if it's me, I think Tyler Shough had the most impressive day in the quarterback room. That's why he's my number 1 winner. Number 2 winner, Mason Tipton. The guy who this dude threw a 54-yard touchdown to, it was that guy. Yeah. So remember last year, Saints signed Mason Tipton, UDFA out of Yale. Dennis Allen falls in love with him at training camp, falls in love with the preseason. He ends up making the roster. Didn't do a ton during the season, but has had a very, very promising summer. Has been very reliable and has taken advantage of a lot of opportunities during training camp. And Mason Tipton today continued in a very, very strong campaign to be preseason Prince number 1. 1 catch, 54 yards, 1 touchdown. Absolutely dusted the Rams defensive backs. Had a really nice route, got behind him. Tyler Shough threw the ball over his shoulder, led it to him. It was beautiful. I mean, chef's kiss. That's how you make the roster. Not only was he making plays, he made a big play as a pass catcher. He was on the field a lot. Definitely got a lot of run, if you will, and got a lot of reps. So to me, that says Kellen Moore is starting to trust this player. Who was the biggest winner versus the Chargers? I'm going to personally say Tyler Shough or Mason Tipton. But one of these players we're about to discuss could make a pretty strong case, including Isaiah Stalbert. Led the team in tackles today. Got to give him a shout out. Clap it up for Isaiah Stalbert. He was really good, and he did get a lot of reps. I thought Isaiah Stalbert was very, very impressive. 6 tackles on today. Listen to his full stat line. He had 8 total tackles. 6 were solo, 0 sacks, 1 tackle for loss. But he was making plays all over the place. He was getting fired out like out of a cannon. He was moving. He was fast, physical, dangerous. That was a player who I was very impressed with today. I think that he was a major winner for today's preseason matchup against the Chargers. Defense did have some struggles, but Isaiah Stalbert was definitely a strong suit in that regard. Kendre Miller, he was really, really good. Also, by the way, keep in mind, not all of the starters played. Most of these guys who did play were young players that are fighting for roster spots / fighting to climb the roster and make a name for themselves. So just keep that in mind. Kendre Miller, running back today, led the team in rushing yards. I will say, or not led the team. Spencer Rattler technically led the team in rushing yards, but 6 carries, 15 yards, long of 8 today. I will say Kendre Miller did show some nice promise. Also tacked on 1 catch for 9 yards. When he had the football in his hands, I thought he made some really, really good plays. I thought he did some very impressive things. Got to get on the field. Got to stay on the field. Didn't get hurt, which is a win. But let's see him consistently do it. Of course, you have to cycle in other running backs. You got to get looks at other dudes. So I do think Kendre Miller is the RB2 right now based off of his usage and based off of how long and how much he was on the field. So I'm going to say Kendre Miller, big winner today. Fadill Diggs, 7th round pick by the New Orleans Saints in the 2025 NFL Draft. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy was a freak. He spent most of the game in the backfield. Listen to this stat line. 4 total tackles, 3 of them were solo, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss. So that's not too bad for a 7th round pick, and I would say that that's a player who I think could end up making the roster. I've been saying I want to see another edge rusher, a young edge rusher, step up. I'm not saying lead the team in sacks, but be a solid edge rusher. Give me some young talent that isn't established on this roster now. Give me a player who develops into a very nice edge rusher. Fadill Diggs, Chris Rumph, 2 players to keep your eyes on. Fadill Diggs had a very, very strong day defensively. If you guys want to get some new swag for the New Orleans Saints season, go click the link in the comments and description of this video. This shirt was $55. I got a link that you can get this shirt for $33. Click the link down below. Get yourself some new swag. Trust me, you're going to be sitting here in October being like, man, I really wish I would have taken advantage of that sale because that shirt, it's back to being $50 and I just don't want to spend the money on it, but I really want some new Saints stuff. Like I'm telling you, this is how these things always work. I'm a guy. I know most of y'all are just like me and hate spending money on yourself when it comes to shopping. Buy a beer, no questions asked. Buy a steak, absolutely. Buying yourself some clothes, very tough to do. Easier when it's on sale. Click the link down below, chatsports.com/Saints Prime. Link is in the comments and description of this video. Get this shirt on sale. Losers for today's game. We're going to start off with Jake Haener. He had the least amount of run. For what it's worth, Tyler Shough sacked twice for 12 yards, 3 times for 8 yards for Spencer Rattler. Jake Haener did not get sacked, but he took a big hit, bounced up, got back on the field, was, I got to say, I was impressed with the fact that he was so tough in that regard. But he did throw an interception, was not that great. 5 for 8, 41 yards. All in all, I think Jake Haener needs to be better, especially if he wants to be the QB2. Spencer Rattler, and Tyler Shough right now are leading the quarterback battle, and it's pretty clearly one of those two guys. Nothing against Jake Haener. I'm not rooting for him to fail. I just think in terms of the long-term future of the franchise quarterback, Jake Haener is better suited as a backup. And for what it's worth, I want to give him a lot of credit because he has been praised a lot for his football IQ and being somebody that if you wanted to talk strictly X's and O's, talk football, he might be one of the best dudes to talk about it on the roster. So Jake Haener, not rooting for him to fail by any means, but definitely needs to have better games in the preseason if he wants to climb the depth chart for New Orleans. The rushing attack from the quarterbacks, mainly Trey Lance, embarrassing. Got to be totally honest. Trey Lance, 7 of 14 for 55 yards. He got to him twice. He sacked him twice, but he also had 7 carries for 48 yards and a touchdown. Had a long of 17 yards. I can tell you as a Saints fan, something that's been very, very frustrating for the last few years is the rushing defense, specifically the rushing defense versus quarterbacks who are even slightly mobile. I remember the New Orleans Saints a couple years ago struggling against Tyson Bagent. Disgusting. They don't look much better. They do not look like they've improved a ton against mobile quarterbacks. The run attack itself, they looked solid. But when Trey Lance decided, I'm not going to throw the ball, I'm taking off, Saints got beat. Need to be better. Need to stop that kind of nonsense. Because a lot of quarterbacks these days are at least a little bit mobile, and the New Orleans Saints need to find ways to be better in that regard. The coaches, I also will say, I think that they could have been a little bit more prepared. I think there could have been a little bit more that they did leading up to this game. All in all, I thought The play calling defensively was good. The play calling offensively I thought was mostly good. Some good, some bad. Again, it's not the starters. It's the very first game. It's the preseason. You're going to get a bland and very vanilla version of the Saints offense. You're not going to show you everything in preseason week 1. That's not what you're going to get. But the penalties specifically were excuse my French, the penalties specifically were a fucking nightmare. This is a team who dealt with a ton of flags last year. Guess what? Still are. 7 penalties, 56 yards. Not okay. That's not okay. You got to clean that up. You got to get better in that regard. You got to stop shooting yourself in the foot. Pre-snap penalties, cut it out. Post-snap penalties, stop it. Play clean, smart, organized football with discipline. That is what this team needs. This roster and this squad, in my personal opinion, is not good enough to consistently be trying to dig themselves out of holes. So you have to proactively nip this in the ass so it's not a problem for the rest of the season. Because if you have mad penalty issues, you're going to lose a lot of football games this year. I want to hear from you. We asked you who the biggest winner was. I want to hear now the biggest loser versus the Chargers. Get in the comment section, share your thoughts. And if you want more content in between these videos, hit your boy up on social media. Trace Girouard 48 on X. I got it linked in the comments and description of the show. And friendly reminder to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 50,000 subs. And with your help, we can chip away. Who Dat Nation? Preseason's here. Football is bike, if you will. All in all, though, we have a lot of optimism and a lot of reason to be excited moving forward for the future of this franchise. Still got a lot to clean up, though. Y'all stay golden, and we'll have some more injury news and updates coming at you later on today.